Welcome back to Revision Vision, and today we are going to be doing a how-to video on using Word, the Word program, to find overused words in your writing. Overused words can often be vague and make your writing repetitive, and so making sure that you're not overusing certain words will definitely help with clarity and with refining your ideas. So some of the most overused words, especially in academic writing or persuasive writing, are this, that, many, however, many, other, and one that I just thought about when I was reading one of my manuscripts is it, too. Sometimes we say it, and I think a lot of times we use these words because they're vague and we're not quite sure what we want to say, and so we use them as placeholders. And that's always totally fine and great on your first draft, but when you're doing revision, you want to make sure that you're clarifying those ideas and going back. So I have a random manuscript here that I'm going to use to show you. And so you can see that I've pulled up my manuscript in Word, and we're just hanging out here. And so what we're going to do is use those list of words. I'm actually going to start with the word this to search for. And so your first step after opening your Word document is going to be to press on your keyboard the Control button, and then while you're holding down the Control button, you're going to press H. And what you'll see pops up is this Find and Replace box. And it's asking us, what do you want to find? And what do you want to replace it with? And we're actually going to ignore the replace with right now because we don't need that. We're going to customize what we replace these words with depending on the context. So you can see this is already typed in there, so I'm just going to tell it, hey, yeah, find the next occurrence of that. And as you can see down here, if you can look right where my cursor is, it's actually highlighted in gray the word this. And so I'm going to read this sentence and find out why I use the word this and see if there's a better way to say it. But this, the power of connection with a student beyond content, I knew. So I don't know that this is actually a good word to use right there. I think there's something better I could say. And actually, I don't like even those dashes, so I'm going to get rid of this too, those dashes, and I think I'm going to say, however, the power of connection with student beyond content, I knew. And so I think that, I'm going to read this out loud. However, the power of connection with the student beyond content, I knew. And I actually think that that's a lot clearer, and we've gotten rid of that word this. So then I'm going to ask it to find the next occurrence of this, and sometimes you have to move the box around and say that this one is actually in a quote. This is good. This is real. So I'm going to leave that since it's in a quote. And it's not that you can't ever use these words. You just want to be pretty sparing with them. The next one I'm going to look up to show you is many. Ooh, and we don't have any of those. This is a fairly short document. I didn't have any really long persuasive essays or anything. So that's good. That's awesome. And then I'm going to look up it, see if there's an it that we need to replace. And it does this sometimes, just so you know, where it will pull out a word that's inside of a word. So you just have to keep going to this Find Next button and see if there's any occurrences where it's actually, oh, here's an it. All right. I'm captivated by Michelle's humble approach to teaching, and I can't help but wonder where it came from. And so let's see, it. The it is referring to Michelle's humble approach to teaching. I'm just thinking right now where it came from, and I can't help but wonder. Let's get rid of that altogether. I can't help but wonder where it came from is really just a phrase that means I'm going to use kind of a fancy word, the genesis, which means the beginning. And that's part of what's great about this word finding, is that you can find sometimes you're using a bunch of words when really there's one word that means your whole phrase. So I'm going to reread this again and see if it makes sense. I'm captivated by Michelle's humble approach to teaching, and I can't help but wonder the genesis. I like that. I think that's good. So I'm going to stop there for today, but as you can see, that this is a great way to refine your writing and a great revision technique to use. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you next time on Revision Vision.